Hey there, pirates. Welcome aboard the Anime No Mi channel. Chapter 1138 not only sheds light on the ancient history of the One Piece world, but also gives us clues about what might be in store for Luffy. The legends of the three worlds, which we now know are part of the sacred texts of Harley, are not merely accounts of a distant past. They are a cyclical structure that seems to govern the very history of the world. If the prophecy holds true, Luffy is not just fulfilling a pre-written destiny, but he could also be the factor that breaks this cycle. The question is he destined to repeat the mistakes of the past, or will he be the one to change everything? I hope for your support to help our crew win, and to do so, you just need to click the thumbs up button, leave a like, and subscribe to the channel. By doing this, you will win an incredible devil fruit, so just comment which fruit you want. Guys, the first thing that stands out to me in chapter 1138 is the mural on the Atom Tree of Treasure. It is essentially a visual representation of the legends of Harley. The painting depicts a massive conflict involving Joy Boy, Nika, a mermaid princess, a robotic figure resembling Emeth, and even entire armies of various races: giants, minks, samurais, humans, Lunarians. If this is a true account of what happened 800 years ago, it means that the lost century was far more complex than just a great battle between good and evil. Luffy's connection to all of this is inevitable. He is Nika, or at least the successor of Nika's spirit. His awakening in chapter 1044 was not just a power upgrade, it was the moment he became the central piece of the world's fate. But what does this mean in the context of the legends of the three worlds? Let's break it down. In the first world, the Forbidden Sun was touched by humanity. This immediately reminds me of the story of the Lunarians, who were called gods and lived at the top of the Red Line. They had superhuman resistance, and according to King, they could survive in any environment. The question is, who were those who touched the Forbidden Sun? And what exactly is this sun? Perhaps it is power, knowledge, technology, or a person. Joy Boy himself may have been this Forbidden Sun. The enslaved prayed, and the sun god appeared. This sounds very much like the idea of Joy Boy Nika as a liberator. The very concept of Nika as a god who brings joy to the enslaved fits perfectly here. If we consider that this sun god was the one who faced the earth deity and the hellfire serpent, we might have some interpretations. The earth deity could be the ancient kingdom, a power so great it challenged whatever the world's order was at the time, and the hellfire serpent could be an entity or a weapon. Perhaps even an allusion to Emu, who was shown sitting on a throne surrounded by oppressive darkness. Now, there's an important detail. They cannot meet again. This means that something separated the sun god from the enslaved, and this separation was likely the beginning of what we know as the lost century. Whatever happened, it destroyed the connection between the liberator and those who needed him. Perhaps that's why Joy Boy failed. In the second world, things get even more complex. The forest deity sends demons, the sun spreads seeds of conflict, and the people of the half moon and the people of the moon dream. This could indicate that the lost century wasn't just a final battle. It transformed into something much bigger. Who are these demons sent by the forest deity? This immediately reminds me of the pacifistas, the seraphims, and even the celestial dragons themselves. What if the forest deity was an ancient world ruler who decided to create artificial soldiers to maintain their rule? The people of the half moon and the people of the moon are two distinct groups. The first thing that comes to mind are the Kozuki and the inhabitants of the moon, the ancient Burkanos, Shandians, and Scipians. The relationship between these two groups seems essential to the world's story. The detail is that they dreamed. What does this dream mean? Could it be the desire for a new world? Or was it a warning of what was to come? And then we have the most important part. Men became gods after killing the sun. This is a huge detail. It means that at some point in history, those who defeated the sun god ascended to power as gods. This could be a direct reference to the 20 kingdoms that formed the world government. Perhaps they were just regular kings, but by killing the sun, they became the gods of the world, the celestial dragons. But this came at a cost. The sea deity became enraged. This is probably the queen of the fishmen, Poseidon, or some other being connected to the ocean. The sea has always played an essential role in One Piece, and we know that something happened that condemned the fishmen to live at the bottom of the sea. Perhaps this is the sea's fury, a kind of punishment. Something was taken from humanity, and the world was never the same again. And finally, we come to the third world, which is where Luffy directly enters. In chaos, there is emptiness. The world is in disorder. Something is missing. The disturbed shadow remembers the promised day and hears the sound of the fragmented moon. This directly connects to Toki's prophecy and the idea of a return. The promised day is a concept that has been mentioned several times, especially in Zoo, where it was said that Joy Boy would return. The sun god dances and laughs, taking the world to its end. This sounds exactly like Luffy in his Gear 5. He dances, laughs, collapse and transforms the reality around him. But the detail here is important. He takes the world to its end. This could mean that Luffy is the one who will destroy the current world order. The sun will return, and then a new morning comes. They will meet again. This is perhaps the most important line of all. The sun will return. And not just that, those who were separated in the past will finally reunite. And this leads us to the biggest question of all. What exactly is this reunion? Does it mean that all races will finally live in harmony? Does it mean that the world will return to the state it was in before the lost century? Or does it mean something even greater, the world being restored to its original form too? If we take into account Oda's words about the world being flooded, perhaps the return of the sun means the destruction of the Red Line and the unification of all seas. And if this is the direction the story is taking, then Luffy's destiny is sealed. He is not just fighting against the world government, he is fighting to rebuild the world. Perhaps in the end, Luffy's great journey isn't just about finding the One Piece. Perhaps the true treasure of Joy Boy is the key to restoring the world to what it was meant to be. And if that's the case, then Luffy isn't just a pirate seeking adventure. He is the very catalyst for the world's rebirth. If Chapter 1138 truly revealed the end of One Piece, then the story has always been about something much greater than simply finding treasure. The message of the Three Worlds Legends not only contextualizes the past, but also sets a standard for the future, a cycle that Luffy may be about to either break or fulfill. And if that's the case, we can say that the world's fate has already been decided, and Luffy is merely the inevitable catalyst of something that was promised 800 years ago. The most obvious clue to the ending comes from a detail most may have missed. The mural on the Atom Tree's treasure is not just a representation of the past, it is a map of the future. The figures there are not only memories of the lost century, they are omens of what is about to happen. And this brings us to the essential question. If history repeats itself, how can the cycle be broken? The final part of the Third World Legend gives us a clear clue. The sun god dances and laughs, bringing the world to its end. This may seem like a catastrophe, but it doesn't necessarily mean complete destruction. If we think about Luffy's Gear 5, his fight against Kaido already showed a hint of what this could mean. He doesn't just fight, he laughs, plays, and distorts reality itself. This suggests that the end of the world might not be a literal collapse, but rather the end of a system, the end of an era, the end of the world order as we know it. And then comes what might be the biggest revelation of Chapter 1138, the connection between the sun god and the flood mentioned by Oda. If Luffy truly embodies Nika, and if Nika is a symbol of the return of the sun, then perhaps his victory will bring with it something no one expected, the collapse of the Red Line. This would explain why the world government fears the prophecy so much. Because Imu, who might be the earth deity from the legend, maintains such control over history. Because the celestial dragons live above all and everyone, literally isolated from the rest of the world. Because Maria Joie was built in that exact location. If the Red Line falls, the world changes completely. Now, think about what happens if the Red Line is destroyed. All seas become one. The Grand Line, the Calm Belt, and the Four Blues unify, making it possible to navigate freely across the world without natural barriers. This would mean the end of piracy as we know it, as there would be no need to fight to cross forbidden seas. The sacred city of Moria Joie disappears. With the fall of the Red Line, the world government loses its capital, its impenetrable fortress, its symbol of superiority. This would literally represent the end of the Celestial Dragon's lineage as rulers of the world. Fishman Island is either destroyed or liberated. It has long been said that Joy Boy's promise was related to the Fishmen. The legend says they are waiting for the day they can live on the surface again, but this can only happen in two ways. Either they emerge naturally, or their home, Fishman Island, sinks completely. If the Red Line falls, this island disappears. But at the same time, the Fishmen will finally have the right to live on the surface without fear. But what do you think about all these revelations? Comment below. That was today's content. We hope you liked it and want to share your opinion on the subject. Don't forget to share the video, give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care and stay amazing.